Okay, all right, guys. We are on the streaming air. Let's put it that way. Thank you, Ben, for getting us on the Chief. We are on the air right now, so yeah, it's okay. No problem. It only took me 5 times to figure out where the door was when I first came here. So anyway, we've got some good people here. Jim Morano, class of 68, 67, class
68.
Of 68.
Yep.
Chief David Erskine. Can we count back that far, Chief? Chief David Erskine, what class was that?
You're on that age.
1960, 61?
62. Yes, but that was when the public schooling went to 8th grade, Sal. So you got to go back in time here.
Okay, that was Greg. That was Greg Howard, our illustrious state representative from the other side of the river in Connecticut. Also a detective, from what I understand. Have you the detective sergeant or?
No, that's Billy. No, I'm just a detective. That's
all
it.
right. Okay. Chief David Erskine over to my left. Good morning, Dave. How you doing?
Good morning, Sal. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
What are you, a class of 65, 66?
66, 1966. And I thought that was like, that was like real young, and I turned around. I said, a month and a half. How does the figure 78 sound? Back in the day, just 78 years old, Jim. You remember those days playing up the middle in my backyard?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right across the street from the high school.
Always, yeah. Never forget that.
Yeah, and also our westerly killer, Paul Bruno, with a name like Bruno, he's over there in Stonington. Hey, morning, Paul. How you doing?
Morning, Sal.
This is the Legends show. We call it a reminisce show of legends. Everybody is our legends that get invited here, and this is the 24th, either the 23rd or the 24th Legend show, and it's always fun to reminisce about. And we think we've got a good crew. We're waiting for Bob Mitchell to come. He said he was coming. So here he comes right now. He's going. All right, so his head just peeked over the. So if you want to go, just run out there and just yell. Oh, here he comes. There he comes. Bob Mitchell will be here. He's walking through the door right now. And we're going to have some fun today because we got just the right amount of people here. Myself, Jimmy, Bobby, because Bobby can go both ways. He's people forget that he won a championship with Stonington.
No, we don't. We don't forget.
Morning, Bob. How we doing?
Morning, Bob.
Morning,
Hey,
Bobby.
Jimmy.
All right, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So I got 2 questions. Paul said a name like Bruno. He's over at Stonington. But your visa must have ran out by now, right? Shouldn't you be coming back to Wesley at any time?
No, not really.
Well, if the ICE agents are in the area anytime soon,
ICE agents
we're going to have
down
them
here
come and
bring
get
you back
you,
over here.
bring you back over here. And when Greg was busting your chops about how old you were and what school you went to, he didn't do that when he was looking for a job back in the day, did he? Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you.
Took him out of the breadline over here.
I'll tell you a funny story. And this is a true story, Jimmy. 23 years ago, when I got hired here, there was a couple guys in his administration that didn't want to hire me, and he'll remember this. And he says, I'm hiring that kid. He brought me in his office, and he says, "Don't let me down. I'm sticking my neck out here." And about 7 years later, he retired. We're at his retirement party, and he said, "I never let you down." And my wife talks about it. She says, that was one of your proudest moments, and it really was.
Couldn't get a better compliment than that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
From a better guy.
From a better guy.
Yeah. Oh, good job, Greg. Bobby, what's going on with you? I understand you're not so much retired anymore. You want to tell anybody, or we don't have to go into that if you don't want?
No, I mean, it's public information, but I was retired, and I've had a chance to do a few interim jobs. Jimmy knows about that, right? And someone from Barrington reached out to me. The superintendent had decided not to continue there, so they reached out and asked if I would consider going. And after meeting with those folks and a lot of conversation with Sally, I decided to do it. So, I think it's important at this age to keep your head in the game. I don't know if I want to keep it as much in the game as it is under the circumstances, but but yeah, so and so the plan is that I would do it for this school year. So taking it one day at a time. It's being an administrator, probably in any job, but I'm telling you, being an administrator in a school department is really challenging these days. I mean, with the with the impact of social media on just about every facet of our lives, it's really, really difficult to stay out in front of that's really the challenge. So, so far, I mean, I'm enjoying it. People have been great. So, one day at a time.
Yeah, we talked about the ride, but you got that under control, I think.
Well, you know what? I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, it's, when I worked in Cumberland, I lived in Westerly, worked in Cumberland, it's 52 miles each way. It never bothered me. And it gave me a chance to get ready. I could do some hands-free calls and give me a chance to gear up and then wind down. And it's so, I mean, luckily for me, I mean, I feel so badly for people that are coming into Providence every day, especially from Mass. And, but I'm like heading in the opposite direction. There's a lot of traffic, but it's not as bad. It's not as bad going over the 195 bridge toward Barrington as those on the other side, folks coming in. And they've already done it for years, and they're going to be doing it for a few more years. I mean, I got to believe it takes a toll on you after a while. So.
Oh, definitely, man.
But anyway, so
I worked there for 5 years up in Blue Cross, so right in the city. Right in the city,
Yeah. But anyway, so, I mean, it's so far so good. And I mean, the reason I did it, I mean, we're at this point in our lives where, I mean, I think I can help. That's probably the single biggest reason why I decided to do it.
And that segues me into, I guess, what we want to start this show is why it's so important to everyone to be involved, and more especially the guys that took part in Thanksgiving Day Wesley Stonington games. And your explanation, Bob, kind of segues into why you're here and who the guys that were that you and Jimmy played, Sal, Jerry, and the guys over in Stonington have their coaches, Woody Duville and Andy Anderson, and Greg is a Wesley guy. I think Chris Reed was your coach. So we owe a lot to the mentors that really kept us going, and some of them just couldn't be here this morning. Usually we have Coach Stellatano and Coach Jerry, but unfortunately they're not able to come. They're still here with us, but Bob, we talked about that. Why is this so special? Why is it so important? Because we'll be gathering probably a couple more times before Thanksgiving, maybe once or twice. You get this tingling in your body, but boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Well,
Bob? I mean, I know that everybody here is probably frothing at the bit to respond to what you just said, but I mean, I'm 69 years old. And had an opportunity to play in 3 of these games, and because it's such an emotional thing, part of growing up in this area. I mean, I remember very, very specific plays from, it's over 52 years ago. So, and I think we remember these things because it is such a part of growing up here, and it's such an emotional thing. That's how we remember things, we repetition and emotion, and whenever I get a chance to talk to players, I tell them all the time that most athletes, regardless of the sport, but we're all connected to football in some way. Most kids historically, and kids who have an opportunity to play the sport moving forward, they will not have an opportunity to play in a game like this. So, anyone that is lucky enough to be a part of it, really needs to cherish every moment that they're able to participate in it. So I used to tell my guys, what you don't want is to realize how big it is and how important it is after you've played it. You got to savor every moment while you're in it. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody here, I'm sure. Can
Yeah,
tell.
and you did
Share the
it.
same.
You did it for Westerly and Stonington. You coached at Stonington,
Mhm.
played at Westerly, and you were also an assistant coach at Westerly, if I'm
Yep,
not mistaken.
Yep. Worked with Jimmy.
Yeah, yeah. And
Well,
And,
you got two great towns too. You know, when you analyze it, Wesley and Stonington are very popular towns.
yeah.
All you got to do is see the traffic around
Oh,
here.
I know.
And all you got to do is look on Friday in the paper and see the sales in the paper of the houses. And people are coming in here like crazy.
Tell me
And
about
it's a well placed, and they got good schools, they good communities, got everything. Anybody bringing up a child, you got everything, opportunities in both schools. And that's the way I always looked at it. And I always thought that it was great being a policeman. Here you are, you're serving the people you grew up with. You know, especially when I started downtown Pawcatuck and Mystic and Stonington had all the businesses down there. Some of those guys that had businesses should have been on television. They were comical, you know. And you talk about community policing. It was great, you know, serving your own people.
Let me ask you a
But
question to piggyback on that. You and Greg maybe can share in this response. I have somewhat of an idea what happened. We used to have a Thanksgiving Day rally the night before the game with Wesley and Stonington, and we'd try to cheer each other on the post office steps. I thought it was a great thing. And then Stonington would go over and have their bonfire. I thought it was a wonderful event. No one else could do it. We were able to do it without any incidents for years. But then all of a sudden, we had to put an end to it. My understanding was it was something to do with insurance, or the police and the town officials felt that, maybe, we shouldn't take any more chances. And it's never, I don't know how many years it's been now since the last time we had the rally, but it's been a while. I don't know if you were on the force when it actually ended, or if you were chief and had some input into that decision.
Well, I remember when I first started, I thought about it the other day when we had the rally, the rally at the post office.
Right.
Stonington would start up in front of West Broad Street School, and I remember the police cruiser would lead them down and in front of your house. They start in front of your house, Paul,
And
we'd
follow
walk
them
all
back.
the way down in
It
there.
was the same way.
And
with
then
Wesley.
after a
Same
while,
way with
and
Come down
guess
Grand
what?
Street.
Come right down West Broad Street, and the cars would be going the other way. You know, you tell the kids on this side of the line.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, Ronnie, you want to come on over here for a second?
Sure.
Ronnie was an MVP in this Wesley
but it
Stonington game. 2001,
99.
99. And
Yeah, I
did you
graduated
have a rally
2000.
that year?
Yeah, I think so. We players weren't allowed to go though, so by the coach not allowed to go.
Right.
So
Right. And hey, congratulations. I know you.
thanks.
We got
Yeah, tired this morning. I expected to do a little show from my car with you, and then Greg said to come over here. Greg Morano, so I came down.
All right. So yeah, you did really well last night. That was a 35-6.
Yeah, the even though it was 35-6, it was still definitely a tough game. The way they play defense and play they play like a press quarters defense, a 4-3 press quarters, and on our corner, the corners are really good on our receivers. So we had a tough time, doing our regular offensive plays. The quick game just wasn't there because of them pressing, and we found other ways to score though. That's
You did.
I knew that screen to that fast screen to Danny was going to be a touchdown as soon as we aligned in that formation earlier in the game to see how they aligned in it. And it just took most of the second quarter to get to the right hash. I needed to get to the right hash to run it. And finally, with about 2 minutes left, I think we got to the right hash. So, we've ran that fast screen 3 times. I think it was a touchdown every single time. So
He's fast.
yeah, he's very fast. Yeah, he's probably got a good future. He's probably one of the
Daniel Cummings.
him and Landon are probably have the two highest ceilings on the team. I really think Danny with his speed and him in the weight room, he's strong, and I know he's about 5'10" or so. He gets to like 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1", being his speed and strength. Teams like URI and
sometimes you put him in a backfield, right, Coach? Sometimes.
Yeah, we used him as a little decoy yesterday on a 4th and inches, and we did a play action rollout with him in the backfield, thinking that they're going to think he's going to get the ball, and Landon rolled out, hit Caleb Williams on about a 5-6 yard pass on a 4th and 1. So. Yeah, we do put him in the backfield, and he does a great job. He got stuffed, though, for the one time we gave him the ball yesterday, but we used him as a decoy a couple times.
The way that kid sees the field, too.
You just can't coach that. I coached against
Yeah.
in youth, and we put 2 guys on him.
Yeah.
Because the kid just sees the field and picks it apart.
And his route running is getting a lot better. Like last year as a freshman, it was a lot of hitches and then posts, but he didn't really do anything besides like a few major pass routes. But we have him doing a lot of other things this year, and he's amazing. So great.
You can't teach speed though.
Yeah, no.
He's got that.
No, that screen pass when he caught it, he went right. He was in the end zone in about a second.
That's
So.
unbelievable.
So, Ronnie, congratulations.
Thanks. Thank
Want
you.
to wish you luck next Sunday. You guys finally got over the hump. I know how it
It's
is.
been a lot of
having-
semifinal games.
Playing
It's been
South,
good.
you know-
playing South Kingston, man. That's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna bring up a pet peeve of mine. So I'm curious about your opinion on this. You guys did everything you had to do to get to this point.
Yeah.
And kudos to you and your team for doing that.
Good luck.
The Rhode Island Interscholastic League should be ashamed of themselves. You got to play a big game, 4 days before Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
And I'm not speaking just on my opinion. I was on the principals committee for the Rhode Island Scholastic League for 10 years. I was director of football for 6. I've heard all the arguments. I've heard all the rationale for Super Bowls and how they set up the league schedule, which is another conversation for another day. But I think the playoffs are way too long. I think the Super Bowl should have been this weekend because you had a quarterfinal game where you beat a team quite convincingly.
Yeah.
To your credit, you do what you had to do. However, I don't think a team that's got 3 wins should be in the playoffs. And if you look back at the history of the quarterfinals since they put that in, the teams with the poor records in the quarterfinals never seem to win or even compete. So this forces you to have another week before you play the Super Bowl, 4 days before Thanksgiving Day. And even though not everyone has a rivalry like we have with Stonington, most teams play Thanksgiving Day. So it affects your preparation, affects the health of the players. And if the Super Bowl was this weekend or the weekend after Thanksgiving, then we wouldn't run into that issue. It was always that way, Bob. It was always. But I know that they wanted to have more teams get involved in the playoffs. I can live with that. Maybe 4 teams, because now you got 4 competitive teams. Because if you took the 4 teams from last night, they were all good teams.
Yeah.
They could have competed, could have played that game last week.
Mhm.
And then the Super Bowl would have been this weekend. And then you would have had your normal rest before the Thanksgiving Day game. Season ends on Thanksgiving Day, and then we go into the winter sports season. But because they want to have everybody get a participation trophy and all these teams get into the playoffs that really don't belong based on what they did during the regular season, number one. And number two, jeopardize the health and safety of the players by only giving them 4 days rest to allow everybody to get in the playoffs, number one. And number two, probably to raise more money because all the playoff games, all the gate receipts go to the most of, not all of them,
Round to Scholastic.
go to Rhode Island to Scholastic League. So to me, it's out of whack, and we're losing focus on what we're doing here. So good luck. I hope your preparation after the Super Bowl for the Stonington game goes like it normally would, but I know it's going to have an impact on you a little bit. And I was wondering if you're now that you know that you're going to be playing 4 days before Thanksgiving, if you thought about any differences you're going to have to do in getting ready for the Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I'll start with the playoffs. I do think 8 is too much. If you look around, a lot of those quarterfinal games were blowouts, and it's only been 8 teams for a couple of years. It used to be when Division 1, 2, and 3, or at least 2 and 3 had 2 sides of the division because they were bigger. They had 8 on each side, so each had 16 teams. I think four made it. Only 2 made it from each side. I think so. It was only 4 teams for a while. I think it was a 6th the most. They might have done some buys like 5-6 years ago, but 8's definitely a lot.
And we know why that happened because we have 2 private schools in the
Yeah.
in the Rhode Island
Yeah,
scholastically.
they get
that,
some
you know, they
it's out of
cater
whack
to.
all the time. So yeah, I definitely think it should be shrunken back a little bit. 'Cause I remember when I first started, when I was a freshman in '96, only the top 2 teams made the Super Bowl. That was
That's the way it
That
always
was it.
was.
No,
That's
no,
always been
yeah.
that way.
no
For
playoffs.
years.
So,
When Bobby and I not only played but coached, it was always
Yeah.
just, you know, you had to win your division to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm okay
I'm
with
okay with
have,
the semifinal too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but, you know,
yeah, no, that was. I was I still talk about it. Actually, the Wesley Sun Report asked me. I was like, I was only a freshman. I didn't dress or anything, but you know, I went to every single game. Like obviously, I love Bulldog football, so I went to that Super Bowl. And real quick, before I get to the preparation, Rich Zielinski at the Wesley Sun did ask me if what I saw, and you were on the team, right?
Yeah.
What I saw as a freshman. Obviously, I was only like 14 years old. Like about that year, about that game and all that, or practice leading up to it. And the one thing I noticed was it was after Thanksgiving, but I could tell like the seniors knew it was like their last week of practice, and it was something special to them because it just seemed like they were really close to that last week. And you know, the way the coaches were and everything, it was a special thing because only a couple teams were practicing in the whole state back then.
Yep.
So it might have been a weird answer to them, but that's what I saw. I saw the players that was really close that week. And
I think you're 100% right,
yeah.
having experienced it several times.
Yeah.
And Bobby, you know.
And going into the Thanksgiving Day game on 3 days, it's definitely going to be a lot different. You know, South Kingston's a heavy run team, probably going to be a very physical game. So our preparation for Thursday, we barely will go out and do a regular practice. It's because Monday, you know, we play Sunday. Monday would normally be like a watch film day, maybe some light running and lifting, which would probably be very similar. And then it's going to be a lot of walkthroughs. We have Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's it. So we're probably not even going to really do a real practice. You know, we've watched Stonington a little bit. You know, they do some different things in the years past, but you know, coaches will have a very busy Monday probably. I mean, we have that dinner to go to, you know, for the Thanksgiving Day at the
Rotary Club,
the Rotary Club dinner. It's at the Yacht Club this year, so it's a very limited preparation. It's going to be definitely different.
Well, my thought and my hope for you and your team is that you win the Super Bowl, obviously.
Yeah.
And number one. And number two, it's such an important game for the seniors that I hope all your seniors get through the Super Bowl unscathed so that they're able to participate 100% in the Thanksgiving Day game. Because they're not going to have time to recuperate from Sunday to Thursday.
No, definitely not. That is a very short turnaround. And I know a lot of the, you know, interscholastic talks about safety and everything, and it probably isn't the most safe thing. I mean, I know that to have a three games rest. Yeah.
And I've always been a proponent of the Rhode Island Scholastic. Like I said, I served on it for many years. But the decisions that they've been making recently, and again, I've heard all the arguments. I've heard all the rationale. And back when I was on there, it's not like you don't want to change things. Yeah. But I know that was a focus.
Actually the easiest change would be to if you wanted to play the Super Bowl like yesterday or this weekend would be
it would be perfect.
Yeah, you get rid of the injury fund game because we didn't even play an injury fund this year. We went and played Situate, Mass. You know, state champion for Massachusetts instead in a real game that counted, and because of the power points, you know, we got more points. It was a great game. I wish it would have been a great game to beat them because they're actually in their quarterfinals. They you know, they've won like 26 out of 27 games. That team. It was a great experience to go up there. But the way Massachusetts does it, they'll play their playoffs. They'll take a week break because of Thanksgiving, and then they play the Super Bowl after. But they play at Gillette Stadium too. So
to me, that's the best way to Bobby. I think you'll agree.
Yeah, you can get rid of the injury fund game.
Well, and here's the thing: like, I don't,
because then you can start earlier.
I don't think
Get the
people
same
fully,
games in.
just to build on what Jimmy said, like, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. Like, are there teams that make the playoffs that probably shouldn't be in the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I mean, when you
that's
there's only
the whole-
like
the whole
30 something teams.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
in Rhode Island, there's only 30.
Yeah, there's like
high school
42
teams.
or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's. I don't.
And
understand.
you know, the Coventry was missing their running back because he got ejected the game before. But even with him, I think it would have been at least a 4-score game. Yeah,
There's no emphasis on.
You don't really need 8 teams is a real lot because there's like 13 in the division.
You don't win 3 games in the regular season. You get to go to the playoffs. And number 2, which I still don't understand. Maybe you're more familiar with it, Bobby or Paulie, Dave, being from Connecticut, the point system where you accumulate all these points depending on who you play. And even if you lose to a team that's a real good team, you get points.
Yeah, we have more
Yeah.
points by
Yeah.
losing
To
to
me,
Situate than
why don't we
beating
make it
Chariho.
simple? If you win,
Yeah, you move on.
you move on. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so the biggest argument, like with the coaches, I don't mind the point system right now. Probably either way, I wouldn't mind it, because if depending on what kind of team you have, you can kind of tailor your schedule to that. Like we only play 4 Division II games. That's it, because we play 3 Division I, and we play Situate Mass, who's equivalent.
to your credit.
And then if you're a weaker team, you can play lower division teams. Like Portsmouth was excellent this year. They blew us out. They blew West Warwick out. They happened to get upset in the playoffs by Cranston West, but they actually were the lower seed because they only played 4 Division I games.
Yeah.
But because they beat us, who's Division II. They played Chariho, who's Division III. So their points were lower than Cranston West, even though the record was way better.
Yeah.
Like with us, we were first place because of our schedule. We had that one loss to West Warwick at the end didn't matter because of our how much points we've already accumulated.
Yeah.
The one argument though by the coaches, because I know Bill Samaggio doesn't like it. I know some of the other coaches from our coaches meeting, the state meeting doesn't like it, because with the so fewer teams that there are. Like, say, if you can play almost every team in your division, then you don't need the points. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you could do it a way where if you split the division in 6, you play all the 5 teams in your pot of 6. And if everybody plays the same teams, that's the way you don't need the point system. But to me, that's the only way you don't
And
really
guess
need
what?
it.
If you do
I
that,
do like it though. I don't mind it. But that way, if everybody had an even schedule, then you wouldn't need
well,
it.
you should be playing. I mean, if you're going to beat out, if Wesley's going to beat out another team in their division, you should all be competing against the same
Because
teams.
we haven't played South Kingston in 3 years.
To me, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Sal.
And if you're only going to have 5 games, you
Sal,
still can
yeah,
keep the
you
injury
could
front.
you could do a show just on this.
Because then
Oh,
you
we-
can,
But
we've
because
done
then you
it,
can
we've
do
done it.
non-league games
Yes.
after.
But you
you
know
can do
what?
the 5 games and then do non-league games.
I know that
Against
Jimmy
those
and
teams,
Jimmy and I, because we have known each other for forever and work together. I mean, the bottom line is, every school has X number of boys. So if you have X number of boys, then you should be competing against schools with X number of boys, the same number of boys as you. If you want to move up, then you can move up. But you know what? To me, it's incumbent upon those teams that have the same number of boys as you, who may not be winning like
Yeah, I
you,
wish I was
to
like
get
that
somebody
more.
in there who's going to help the program win, right?
Most states
That
do.
that to me, competing against schools comparable in size is really the fair thing to do. But it's not here. It's like if you're good, you get punished,
Yeah.
and if you stink, you get rewarded because It's just I just could never understand. It's not the way we think.
Right.
No,
Exactly
in
Exactly right.
Rhode Island, I definitely don't like how they do the shuffling of teams, because the enrollment is in a collision sport is like 15%. In baseball, because it's not a collision, it's like 30% to the formula, how they move teams up and down. And Rhode Island's one of the only states that does this, because I love how Connecticut, Massachusetts does by school size. We're one of the smallest schools in Rhode Island now, and we're playing East Providence has 1,600 kids. We have 600. So us and Barville do a great job. Like 3 years ago, if we beat Barville in the playoff game, we would have went to Division I.
Where'd the Barville coach go to school?
Yeah, he's a very, very good coach too. We finally got Gennaro this year, because they had beaten us in some big games, in the past 6 or 7 years. But yeah, if they did the divisions here like they did Connecticut or Massachusetts, we would be in a small school division. And us, Barville, and Portsmouth's getting a little bigger now. They might be a little ahead of us because they have like 7 something. They're getting bigger, where we're getting smaller. But us and Barville would probably have 10 state championships in the last 15 years right now if we played.
I think aren't they seriously thinking about going to the area wide?
So they might do so like Connecticut, they have the
right.
ECC division. They might do something similar here because we do have the points. But they would only they would try to have you scheduled against teams more within that conference. It could be us, South Kingston, like Narragansett could be. And Narragansett is only one of the only public schools smallness, but they've been in Division 4. We're in Division 2, and they're winning like 4 Super Bowls down there. So I don't know how they don't keep getting moved up or anything, but yeah, it would be like us, Narragansett, South Kingston. Hopefully not Exeter, but they'd probably be in there. They're not very good. North Kingston though could be in there, and they're very good. So you'd have some out of whack games though, but there are some in the ECC too. Like NFA does play like East Lyme and some of the smaller schools as well. So that it would happen, and I know they would try to shuffle the schedule around to try to make it as even as possible. They might do conferences though. I heard there's a chance.
So we had conferences. Again, I'm not going to beat this to death. I'm going to shut up after this. But I coached.
We don't have to go to break or nothing. So
I coached for 13 years. In those 13 years, we had Super Bowls every year. All the schools that you just mentioned, Narragansett, South Kingston, teams you play, Coventry,
East Greenwich,
Westerly, those teams over that 13-year span all got a chance to play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they couldn't compete. It was whoever had the better team that year, won the most games within your division, went to the Super Bowl. But it wasn't like there was a continual a team that was continually in the cellar and couldn't win any football games. It was very
It goes in
competitive.
cycles.
Yeah, it was absolutely, and they all had a chance to play in the Super Bowl. And as Bobby said, depending on who they brought in to try to turn the program around, if they were struggling a little bit, it absolutely made a difference.
The 4 years ago when they initially did the realignment and they only left 4 teams in Division One, that definitely kind of messed things up a little bit because it was only Hendricken, LaSalle, Central, and North Kingston were the only 4 Division One teams. So everybody else moved down that were perennially a Division One. East Providence has like 10 Division One titles, yet they got moved down to 2. And they're staying in 2, like they're still there. And Cumberland moved down for a little bit, and all the teams that moved down to 3, like Mount Hope, Moses Brown moved down there for a little bit. I really actually think it hurt those teams to move down and play weaker competition. Like we were pretty much one of the only Division II teams still in Division II. They all moved down to 3. So it was, and all the 1 teams moved down to us. So we were playing Cumberland, East Providence. Who else was in? We actually had a non-league game against Central. Cranston West was down there. Yep. St. Ray's, Cranston, they were all down Division. St. Ray's beat us in the semifinals 3 years in a row. So we were really playing a Division One schedule, and I think it actually helped us in the long run because we were playing better competition, and that's why our schedule this year. Being so tough really, helps us when we actually play Division II games. Like I said, we scrimmaged North Kingston, we played Situate Mass, we scrimmaged NFA. Then we had non-league games. They counted toward the points, but Barrington Central and Burrillville Central and one other Division I team. But we played a lot of a tough schedule to get us ready for this schedule. So for Division II playoffs. But
yeah, this looked like it's working well, Ron. Congratulations, by the way, and.
We get back to the Thanksgiving Day talk. If you want.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Jordan will laugh because this will be the last thing. Because I always mention it. The last tie that could happen was my year, '99, because Rhode Island went to overtime in '99, but the game was in Connecticut. Connecticut didn't have an overtime rule until 2000. So we were the last tie that ever could happen, and it is tough tying. Like it was a 14-14 game. We were up 14-0. We were definitely the underdog, though. I know it was Coach Bonacor's first year at Stonington, and they started throwing the ball a ton. I'm pretty sure Coach Turner had like 3 players living with him in the in his basement because Bonacor brought 3 players. He brought 3 players from New London. He had Darren Fox, and he's the only one I remember that name. Darren Fox and a couple other players. When Bonacor came from New London, he had them living with coaches. So they were actually much better that year, but yeah, we got up 14-0. I did have some very nice runs. I won the MVP award. But it was a weird feeling tying. It did feel like kind of like we lost, to be honest with you. We were happy that they missed like a 50-yard field goal they tried to in the last couple seconds, but it is tough tying, but I guess I could say that in the last tie ever.
Who was that place kicker? He was really good. He went
on. Mello was his first name. And he went to Maine.
Later on, he went to University of Maine. He could kick. He was good kick.
It had the distance. It was just wide left. It was probably like a 40-yard field goal.
There was a penalty.
Was it too high?
They moved him back.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not. I don't. There could have been. I believe you if there was. I don't remember that part, but I remember it was pouring rain for most of it. The game. So, but that was it.
So what's your schedule like today, Ron?
Not much because we don't play till Sunday. We actually gave it the day off, tomorrow off too. So Monday we'll be watching film and lifting and all that. So yeah, and then we have a JV game against Stonington on Wednesday. We probably only have about 15 kids to send though. We only have like 35 kids in pads right now because of injuries and just the small school roster.
Any injuries last night?
No. So our right tackle, our big guy there, Dom Durfee, he went and got an X-ray on his forearm, but luckily it was only a sprain. So hopefully he'll be okay for Sunday. But
Was
that's
the center? Did the center get hurt?
Damon gets banged up all the time. You know, he's a tough kid. He actually went from being like a tight end, and he was like fourth. You know, he wasn't getting playing time as a freshman, even on JV too much. And then he went to running back, and he was like fifth on the depth chart. And last year we finally moved him to line to guard, and he did an amazing job. He's actually one of our best leaders too. He's a great kid. And then he never played center before, but because Jack Speranza tore his ACL and was out for the season. He's filled in at center. He never did it before.
Sal, can I just ask a quick question?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Coach, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Does the quarterback ever get under center? Ever?
No, we haven't. So we haven't gone under center in 3 years, and the only time we would be on a stop clock, because if you have to kill the clock, you got to be under center.
So even if it's like torrential downpour.
Yeah, like last year in Thanksgiving, we didn't go under center once.
Well, and you know what? And last night I was at the game.
I'll give you the reason for it.
I was getting a little frustrated.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
When
sure
the
with the
ball
bad
is,
snaps.
like,
Yeah.
zooming over the quarterback's
Yeah,
head.
yeah,
It's a
I was
playoff
going to ask you about those.
Oh yeah, I'll give you an explanation.
Give us an explanation. So what was going on? 'Cause
We
we
don't.
was-
Oh
we was
well, I'm not giving
screaming
you an
in the
explanation why
face.
we don't go under center. We don't
Oh.
practice it.
Oh.
We just don't. If we could practice it, then it's going to take away from a lot of
Will
the
you
stuff.
do that for me?
But yeah,
One play.
I've had a couple people actually.
What was wrong? What was?
Damon's got small hands. I don't know. It was cold. I don't know. He just had a couple bad snaps.
It didn't come to.
No, thank God it didn't hurt us.
Could have bit you, but it didn't.
And the one thing, like, because we practice and we don't practice under center, so I don't like doing something that we don't practice much.
Well, I don't know.
So that's the only reason. I just don't like doing
Right.
stuff that we don't practice much.
It makes
And
perfect
yeah.
sense. I just want
that's
you to-
really easy.
I just
We
want you
could
to-
do
I
it.
just want you to practice.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, Bob, he is going to the Super Bowl on Sunday.
I know.
Yeah,
But
we
you know
haven't-
what? Here's my thinking, right? And who the hell cares what I think, right?
Well, we all do.
But you're in a playoff game
Yep.
against a good team, and the ball is getting snapped all over the place. See,
Yeah.
I mean, they won the game handily, but I mean, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, the ball's going all over the place
we-
in big spots, which
Right.
could have turned the game around. Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's not whether or not you do it. It seems to me and again, I'm clearly I'm, probably inappropriate here, but I'm thinking if the ball's going all over the place in a playoff game, then maybe you might need to make an adjustment, get the quarterback under the center, so you're not like giving the other team the ball. I mean, the ball snapped over the quarterback's head.
Several times, right?
Yeah,
Ron?
there's
There
a
were
couple times,
several times. So that's all.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm thinking like I wouldn't want to be in a position where I
Yeah, Jim,
could
if
do
you
it
would-
because I don't
Yeah.
practice.
Jim, if you were
'Cause
there,
even,
you would.
even
see
when
what-
we kneel down,
what we're
if we
talking
take
about.
a knee, we still do it for
Frustrating. I
shotgun.
One
Yeah, we
ball
do.
was on the ground.
Because we,
I
I remember
saw it.
someone
Oh, you
someone
were
did
going-
ask
you
in the
watched that
past
season.
because when we were single wing, we did the same thing because it was all snaps to Tristan, and we would kneel down. So even if we kneel down, it's from shotgun because we don't practice under center at all. We really don't.
I get no disrespect.
Not saying we can't. It would take time away from other things, but like even 4th and inches, we don't do it because that's why I was talking about that 4th down in the game with that rollout. Because last year in the semifinals, our first series, we had a 4th and inches and we ran it. We got stuffed, and we came out in the same exact formation on that 4th down and did a play action bootleg off it, and making it look like Danny was getting the ball. So.
Well,
Yeah,
listen, because we got to get moving
Yeah.
on. But listen, kudos to the defense.
Oh, they did an
And the
amazing job.
coaches.
Oh yeah.
You went from a 4-3, a 4.
Yeah, so we normally do a
Jim
4-2-5.
6-6,
Yeah.
like a 6-2. Jim.
Yeah, we normally do a 4-2-5, and we went to it was kind of like a 5-3, but not like the old 5-3. Like it was different alignments. We, normally back when in the long time ago when we were doing the 5-3, it was a nose guard on a 0 technique, and then two tackles on their tackles. But ours was we had a 0 technique, and then we had 2 outside shades on the guards, and then 2 6 eyes, which we call inside the tight end. And then we had outside backers that actually came up sometimes, depending where number 9 was. So number 9 was their guy, their big guy. They ran toward number 9 all the time, the tight end. So it was almost like a 7-1 at times that we were
Right.
playing. But yeah, Mike Contrary, and Jordan Husero. That they both are defensive coordinators, kind of co-defensive coordinators, and they do a great job, especially last night with their game plan.
There was pressure on that quarterback. Yeah. I don't know who put the pressure on the quarterback, but made some big plays.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know Caleb hit him a couple times, and even Damon had a late hit. Because I don't know if it's a great thing, but it's a great thing to have to make adjustments. But on calls, it can get you frustrated because we have huddle sideline, so we can see the play that just happened on our iPads, so we can make adjustments if someone missed a block and all that. But if it's a penalty too, though, if it's a penalty, we can watch it and see if it really was a penalty, which then it's like if I know the ref made the mistake, because I can see it right here, then it gets me a little mad. But yeah, that late hit, he's hit the quarterback right when he released it. I don't know what he's supposed to do, but
we
anyway.
didn't see it from the stands, but
Yeah.
who are we? But that's a good thing. But they
We
scored
could
a
have won a
touch.
couple more games.
I know.
You caught.
Yeah,
We could have
we
taken
can
that iPad out to the official here. I want to show you.
Well, if you say anything like that, they get really mad. So I remember I said it once a few years ago, and the guy, I don't care about what it shows, but
And the last thing, you did a good job calming down some tempers that were flaring.
it was a little chaotic at times, and that was a really bad cheap shot on Caleb's long touchdown run. Landon was like 50 yards behind the play, and the kid, as hard as he can, just nailed him right in the back. And it was definitely just trying to take him out of the game. And I actually thought he was going to I ran on the field because I thought he was going to jump on him and start punching him and stuff. Like, what the heck is this? Because I could have been ejected for that, and I was just going out to protect my player. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. I never seen anything like that. 50 yards away from the play, and he just goes full steam into our quarterback. He should have been ejected, really.
Should have been ejected. Yeah. What happened was this kid, that great play where the kid scores a touchdown. He's running down the field, and then way behind the kid who was scoring the touchdown. Landon got whacked by this guy. Just was a cheap shot.
It was really dirty. Yeah, I know you don't see much. You don't see that too often. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was like
Wow,
that was real bad.
Yeah.
So,
Who's their coach?
Wes Pennington. He's he actually just retired. He was a state policeman, and he's been there probably 3 or 4 years. I forgot where he was before that, but yeah, he's done a pretty good job there.
Yeah, obviously.
They haven't changed. We knew they weren't going to change much of their game plan because they did pretty well against us, and they probably should have changed a few things. They did the exact same thing.
What kind of offense to South Kingston, man?
Wing T.
That's what I figured.
Yeah,
exactly.
a little more, modernized a little bit. I think
yeah.
they spread out a little bit, but definitely, it's still belly and belly down and buck sweep and all those plays. He used to be at Coventry. I totally forgot his name, to be honest with you, but yeah, he was at Coventry for a long time. Didn't have too much success there, but he's been having good success at South Kingston.
This guy's for the Rhode Island guys. 2 names that West Warwick had, and they seem to have them every year. Andrew Chow and Petrarca with a running back.
Yeah. Oh, Petrarca, that was the West Warwick. But so with them though, they actually he transferred from Coventry, that running back. So West Warwick's running back transferred from Coventry. He had to sit out, 4 games, and then he was able to play that because they lost to East Providence early in the season, West Warwick, but he wasn't there yet because you have to sit out a certain amount of games.
2 good running backs, very good running backs. Petrarca, very good.
Anthony came back and played. Anthony Rodriguez, he did a great number 6. So I know, I know some of you guys definitely wouldn't have let this kid on the team because he didn't come out for the team. So he was our starting outside linebacker last year. Didn't come out for the team this year. He's a basketball kid too, though. He's great. He's a good kid. He just didn't want to play.
What's his name?
Anthony Rodriguez.
Okay.
We had all these injuries. And Ian Morissette, who was playing his position, and this year has been doing a great job too, got hurt, and we had no idea how hurt he was. He hurt his knee. Luckily, it was only it wasn't a torn ligament or anything, and he came back yesterday. But he heard about all the injuries, and he's still friends with guys on the team. He came out for the team 2 weeks ago, and he practiced. You got to practice a certain amount of practices. You have to practice 10 practices, and the first day he was eligible was yesterday. And he helped us, so it was almost, we joke around. It was like picking up a free agent kind of, but yeah, we understand he didn't go through any of the camp or anything like that, which is the downfall. But the players welcomed him, and no one had any problems with him coming and playing. And he put his time in the 10 days doing some extra conditioning and everything. So he's done everything we've asked for. So he could be a big player in the Super Bowl. So
have you seen Stonington play yet this year?
A little bit, not live, but I've watched on 3-2-1 a couple times. So they actually early in the season they were running some 2-back like power offense, and all of a sudden a couple games later it was totally like last year without that. So they changed things up. It looks like whatever it's a game planning thing. It looks like whatever they can win with. It did change though. They're back to kind of more spread stuff that they were last year, throwing quick screens and all that. But yeah, they were doing some kind of power run game early on, so we have a lot to prepare for. But
You got a whole week and a half to get ready for it.
yeah, now we got
they do.
we have 3 days.
Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah, Ron,
I think we'll be all right as long as we don't have
they
any
did-
injuries. You know,
They
who
did
knows
get
what
beat
would
last
happen
night,
if we have
Ron. They
injuries.
did lose last night.
Oh, against Griswold was
Legend,
right?
Legend.
Yeah.
56-20.
So
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
it all comes down to health, really. Like going in next Thursday, as long as we don't have any major injuries in the Super Bowl, I think we'll be fine. But it could be anything could happen. Like last year with the downpouring rain and everything like that, our running back, starting running back had failed off, so we didn't have much of a running game in the last playoff game or Thanksgiving at all, which isn't good for when it's downpouring. So we ended up we still ended up scoring like 20. We ended up throwing the ball 20 something times, and that was the worst weather I've ever seen. But
Quarterback did a great job.
yeah, we do. Really, it's wind that affects the pass game a little more. Like the last time we played West Warwick 4 times in 2 years, and 3 out of the 4 the wind was ridiculous. And finally we had a calm night last night, so it helped a little bit. But yeah, we definitely threw about 20 something times in the rain last year because it wasn't really that windy, but it was awful, the rain.
Complete a lot of them.
A little bit. The touchdown that kind of put us up by that put us ahead by 2 scores was he only threw the ball like 10 yards, but he ran another 60.
Yeah,
But
get
yeah.
the ball to the fast guy.
Yeah, he's got some speed, that kid. Plus,
But it'll be a good game though. They always come out tough, Stonington, and I know they're going to give a
it's
full
going to be a
effort,
lot
so-
more
oh, yeah.
competitive than you think.
And who knows on a 3-day rest? I was telling Jamie, the athletic director, and the other coaches, I definitely want to experience this 3-day thing, getting ready for Stonington, because obviously it means you go to the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting trying to prepare for 3 days and not really practicing. Like,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
It's probably going to be walkthroughs. There's no way we're going to be able to probably practice.
They'll be the kids will still be sore tomorrow from the.
Oh yeah, definitely. They'll be sore. That's why we won't do much, and we'll kind of just show up and play on Thursday.
You know what it's Thanksgiving, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah,
goes
they'll be
away
emotional and
on
everything, so.
Thursday.
Yeah, they're just kids,
There you
right?
go, Greg. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I know you guys.
Coach, you did a great
going.
job.
Thank you,
and
Coach.
you and your staff have done a great job
Yeah,
this year.
Thanks.
No matter how you end up. I do know that getting back to that the rainy day last week, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Me and Jimmy were the only 2 fools in the end zone that stuck it out. And we left right at the same time. We left right at halftime. I said, Jim, and you said to me, no, we gotta go, Sal.
Yeah,
I will say
never
I'm-
left at halftime.
I'm
I stayed the whole game.
Good for you.
You left.
Well, when you have it on 3-2-1, it's real easy. Just watch it at home like you're watching the NFL or something.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for nice weather this year, because if there is nice weather, people that no one went last year or they left. So if we have nice weather, both teams have decent records. Expect a huge crowd, I would think. You get decent weather, everyone's like, oh, we didn't go last year, so hopefully we get a huge crowd.
And it's at Wesley this year.
Yeah, and we can tie the overall series.
That's right. Overall series.
And there's going to be a special halftime
Yeah,
ceremony.
the 85 team.
My 85 team that was undefeated, 12-0,
Wow, huh, Jim?
40 years. We're going to have a little
Coach, good
reunion.
job, buddy.
Thank you.
Good luck, Ronnie.
Go ahead, say that again, Jim.
The 85 team.
1985.
We were 12-0. We won the Division II Super Bowl against Coventry. But anyways, 40 years. We're going to do a reunion. Actually, before the game, we're going up to the Bocce Club. There's going to be a frittata breakfast in memory of Vero Marone,
Okay.
because he was one of my assistants on that team. So the Marone family is sponsoring a frittata breakfast at the Bocce Club in his memory. And then they're going to honor us at halftime briefly. And then Friday night, after the game,
Yep.
we're going to get together at the Calabrese Club.
Well, that's nice. We kind of did. Remember when we did the honored Coach Jerry and the
Yes,
Super Bowl teams?
yeah, very
That's
similar to
really
that.
nice. Yeah, 12-0. Gee, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we got all the guys are excited. We got about 40 of the players that have already committed to coming. So
What's better than that?
it's going to be wonderful. I can't wait to
That's awesome.
see
Good for you,
everyone.
Jimmy,
And,
yeah.
John Gilman, who I'm sure all of you remember, he's been helping organize this whole thing, has done a great job. So everybody's looking forward to it.
Yeah, he was a
So
pretty
you'll
good
see them all in the
player,
end
too.
zone, Sal. They'll all be there.
I got to be able to make it. You got any wheelchairs?
I might have
He's
to ride
laughing.
with you.
It's going to be a lot of. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, and I look back at probably one of the most competitive games that was ever played was Bobby Mitchell's team that went to the Super Bowl and won it, and your team that went to the Super Bowl and won it. That Thanksgiving Day game that year, Jim. Do you want to even mention?
Well,
About
that
it.
was a once in a lifetime experience. And certainly, it was disappointing to lose, but it was a great football game. And the thing that I always say, it highlighted the outstanding athletes that we both had on our teams. All Bobby's, his top 5 or 6 players all stepped up, as did kids on Westerly. The game had a lot of different momentum swings. We had a touchdown call back in the first half. We ended up on the 1-inch line before the half ended, and couldn't punch it in. And then Stonington kind of dominated the second half. But to their credit, because they had to, we controlled the first half, they controlled the second half. But it was 2 good football teams. It was a great football game, and the way it worked out, I mean, you couldn't have planned it any better. Stonington got into the Super Bowl because the Plainfield, I think, lost, and we were all hanging around after the game to see what would happen. And then we were both supposed to compete.
Everybody had to have the cell phones. Then
Yeah.
Right.
And then we were supposed to play the Super Bowl the same night.
Right.
And then we got the snowstorm.
Right.
And we couldn't play, but Stonington ended up playing because it was on a artificial turf field in West Haven. So we got to play another night. So all the local community got to watch both Stonington and Wesley. And fortunately, we both won that year. I don't know if that'll ever happen again, but it was it's a lifetime experience. I mean, just
Go ahead. You go.
When you called, you left me a message and you said bring some stuff. And earlier we talked about my relative, playing Bruno over here.
Paul Bruno.
So I've been fortunate enough to go back, and over 25 of my cousins, nephews have been playing in the Stonington and Wesley game. So the Brunos, Eddie Bruno, my brother, myself, and then we had the Bullducks, Billette, Castles, Donahue boys, Pont, Cantino, even my cousin's kid from New London played Stone Drink Eater. And then, of course, we had guys on both sides, Simolaries and Ayers boys.
Yeah.
We lost a couple, Eddie Jr. and, of course, Tommy Simolari.
Yes.
Yep, young Tommy, yep.
Eddie Gaffney III played in 2008, was captain his junior and senior year.
Wow.
His great-grandfather, George Castle, played back with Benny Helm and Mike Cronin, coach. And his grandfather, Tommy Pont, had played just before Dave. And he was captain his junior, senior year, graduated in 2008. He played for college ball at Stonehill. And he passed away this year, so just wanted to bring that up. So,
No, that's
our families.
the best part of this show.
That's what makes it so great.
That's why the show and the game is so important.
That's what makes it so great.
Thank you.
Paul, sitting here and watching you get emotional, just talking about those people, it cuts right to the core of why we do this and how important this is. And, you probably think back and say, I watched them play. When they weren't playing, we meet before the game, we talk, maybe even you probably had Thanksgiving dinner with several of them after the game was over. And to have those types of memories, you can't put a price on that. And it's why I guess we continue to do this. So thank you for doing that. And your emotion has gotten me emotional in terms of, how it got me thinking about some of the people that I look forward to seeing on Thanksgiving morning that are no longer around as well.
Exactly, Paul. Great job. Jimmy, there's a message here from, I got a message here from Ben Barber, the owner of this station. And he just wants to say, I just want to say it's an honor to have Mr. Mitchell on our network today. Patrick, Dave, and I are all Charahoe graduates from the mid thousands. We could not have asked for a better principal. During some of the scariest times in this country, fresh off Columbine and being there for 9/11, we always felt safe at Charahoe with Mr. Mitchell at the helm of the ship, and can't thank him enough for his leadership, leading and teaching us to treat others with dignity and respect. The best, Ben Barber.
Thank you, Ben. Very kind.
Because he left me a note, says you guys got to talk into the mic. So, so I remember you going when you were at Charahoe, and you had a son that was playing for Westerly.
Yeah. My youngest son, Adam, who just got married, by the way. But yeah, Ben always been very active in journalism and on the radio and that sort of thing. Good, really good kids. But it's interesting, and I just there's one thing that he said which I can't tell you how much I appreciate. Like when I went to Charahoe, things weren't, as the principal, things weren't going particularly well, and so I used to do the morning announcements. When I first got, this is 2000. So
Right.
I was there from 2000 to 2012. And I needed to change the culture and the climate in the school. So I did the morning announcements as the principal. And I did that for the first year that I was there. And every single solitary announcement, at the end of every announcement, I would say, always remember to treat one another with dignity and respect every day. Right.
Yeah.
And then if for some reason I forgot to do it, they would say, Mr. Mitchell, you forgot to say the thing about dignity and respect. But there's a point to this whole thing. So then we had kids do the morning announcements, and they would continue doing it.
Yeah.
And I think they're still doing it today. I don't know. But I was there until 2012. In the community that I live in now, in South Shore Village, Sally and I have been there for 3 years. I'm walking to get the mail. And on my way back from walking to get the mail, this woman approaches me and she said, Mr. Mitchell, I said, yeah, she said, I just want you to know my 2 sons went to Charahoe and they're doing very well. One's an attorney and one's a project manager. And I said, oh, well, good for them. I'm really happy to hear that. She said they had a great education at Charahoe. And she said, you know what they talk about all the time? Now, this is 2025. She said, they always talk about how you used to say, always remember to treat one another with dignity and respect. I mean, that's 13 years after I left.
Wow.
I mean, little things like that. Clearly, Ben remembers, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why he doesn't get emotional, but he got emotional in this.
Well, you know what? I appreciate that. Thank you, Ben, for mentioning that. And you know what? My mom, who just passed away, she said all the time. First of all, she had no regrets. 92 years old. God bless her. I hope I make it to 92. But she says all the time, it doesn't cost anything to be kind. And I think we need to remember those things in this crazy world that we live in. Things like that.
It is crazy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ben.
And over to my right, we've got another two state guy, Greg Howard, Detective Greg Howard, State Representative Greg Howard. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning.
Tell us about what your experiences is like with this game.
Well,
Wesley
I think that some of these guys really have encapsulated it. I think it's really about community, and like Chief Erskine said, we have such a great community here, both Wesley, Stonington. I tell my sons, I got 2 sons in Stonington High School right now. And I tell them all the time, periodically, just periodically look around, look at where you live. And, communities, look, we got nice stuff here, right? We're by the water with nice parks and whatnot, but whether you're talking about a football team or you're talking about a business, a club, an organization, a town, a city, a state, it's really all about the people, right? And I think that's what really encapsulates this place here. And you watch, Mr. Bruno get emotional a bit talking about the history of this town and the people that have built this town. You have guys here that have built this game, this tradition. And I think what to me, what sits at the heart of it is exactly what Coach Mitchell's talking about with integrity, with kindness, with dignity. And I've said this for years. I think football really exemplifies that, Sal, because you got 2 rival high schools. You have young men full of testosterone, right? And they're going out there and they're doing battle. But the coaches, the game, and the players themselves teach them that it's all about between the whistles. It's not about hating each other. It's about going out, doing a game, getting it done. And then the whistle blows, we shake hands, we're friends. It's not about it. You know, you asked about the rally, you know, and I think, you know, the football players were never allowed to go to the rally. At least when I was in Wesley, I don't think the Stonington
Now
coaches
with Coach Jerry, right?
yeah, let them go
I
down to
don't
the
let my
rally.
players go either.
But it's a shame that we don't have it. And I think, like, you know, you look at it and I think you're exactly right, Coach. I think, you know, people said, well, the insurance and whatnot, you know, and that just frustrates me because, you know, we have block parties down there. You know, they shut High Street down often. And it's really just not that different. You know, maybe the transportation back and forth, we could do a little bit different as times change. I remember being a young patrolman following the cruiser back to Stonington High School, and I was still all bulldog blooded. It felt a little bit weird. I've made almost a full transition now, but I remember doing that, and I think that it's a shame that we don't do that.
Time to bring it back.
Yeah, and
Someone's
you
got
know,
to step up. Is it any different
Yeah.
than demonstrators standing outside?
no, it's not. And I think, you know,
And nothing against them. I mean, they have
No.
every right to do that. But you know, if we
Right.
allow that, why can't we allow kids to compete against?
Well,
one
go by
another?
there every Sunday. There's a group of people.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think today, you know, back then when you guys played and coached, and even when I played, we didn't really know the Stonington kids. Social media didn't exist. Now these kids know each other. You know,
Yeah, everybody knows one another.
Right.
And when I go to the high school and speak at the history classes, I always tell them, be good to one another. Because you don't know, some down the road, 20 years ago, the kid sitting next to you in the classroom might be the one that interviews you for a job.
yeah,
And it was the same way with me. When I went through school, I was lucky when we went to build that new police station. 3 of the people on that board of finance were my coaches in high school. I was fortunate.
yeah, I think those
And,
relationships last forever.
Be
You
good
know,
to one another because
Ronnie-
it's a small world. You cross paths.
You could end up marrying one of them too.
yeah.
Well, that's you look at it's like over in Stonington, you know, you got people. I always said that. I always used to kid Vera Marone. I said he snuck across the bridge over there on went the White Rock Bridge there and grabbed the girl from Stonington, you know, and used to it was many they all, you know, Jack Carson's married Joanne Sis. She was a cheerleader with my wife in high school. They
Yep.
would go on and on and on, and they're all connected. And it's just that 3 hours in the morning there on Thanksgiving Day, but everybody knows one another, and they're all related, like he says. Everybody's related, and
I
what
think there's
Bobby
a lot,
says.
there's a lot to it. And you know, Coach Mitchell was talking about this crazy world we live in. And listen, I'm at the forefront. I'm a policeman and a politician. You know, two professions that are, excuse me, a little bit difficult to be these
Wonder why your
days.
hair's getting gray.
Yeah, you know, I had a physical a couple weeks ago, and the doctor said, I cannot believe your blood pressure is as good as it is. I said, well, thank God, you know, but we can find things like this. You know, we can find things like the Thanksgiving Day game because, you know, over in Stonington, maybe you got Republicans and Democrats. Wesley, you got Republicans and Democrats. But on that day, everybody's just a bulldog or everybody's just a bear. And you know, we can focus on that and, you know, maybe transition that into, hey, we're all Americans, you know.
And then it just a couple of weeks ago, you introduced me to a couple of the officers that just from Westerly.
Yep.
That are policemen in Stonington now, and they gave me the impression they were very, very outstanding. It looked like they were very nice young men.
Yep, great guys.
And
We've
I
been
mean,
very
it's
fortunate to hire great guys.
the road, the river is only 50 feet
Mike
wide.
Sherry's
Yeah,
with you.
yeah, Mike
Mike's
is-
with us,
Mike
yep.
is Prairie.
Yeah.
Is a
Yeah.
policeman in Stonington. Big kid, big, strong kid, all
Yes.
state in football and track.
So some who don't know, that's Ronnie's defensive coordinator that he was talking about.
Right.
Him and Jordan. Yeah, Mike works with us. He's a patrolman, big kid. He started out at URI, went to Nashville. He was down in Nashville when that bomb exploded in the truck there. But then he came back here to his roots. He's been coaching over with Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy. We're
We
lucky to have
inducted
him.
him to the Wesley High School Athletic
Yeah.
Hall of Fame last year.
Yep, great guy. So I mean, look, you know, so that was, you know, your question. What it means to me, you know, look, I played in the game for 4 years and I played football since I was 8 years old with the same guys. You know, you saw Greg Moreno. I don't see Greg as much as I'd like, but when I came in here, it's like we never missed a beat. You know,
Yeah.
we played football growing up together, and I would say that about a lot of guys. Ronnie was a couple years younger than me, but you know, just sort of that sense of community and what it means, and I think we should bring more traditions back, like the rally and some other things, and I love that 3-2-1 media. I love Ben. I love the fact that it's out there for folks that can't make it to the game, but I do hope individuals, you know, in both communities will come and, you know, see your old friends and be part of that tradition in that moment.
Well, I got the extended weather forecast, and then, and it's supposed to be nice that day. So, hey,
Well, that's a
maybe we'll-
guarantee. That's a guarantee because
Yeah.
meteorology is science, and you got to
There
trust
you
the
go.
science. That's a
There
guarantee.
you go. But anyway, yeah, Jimmy and I were fortunate to play in a few Thanksgiving Day games. In fact, I started off in 6 of them. So there's not many people that can say that, right, Jim?
No, I don't
But
think
you
there's
would've-
anybody.
Yeah. And Bobby Mitchell over there, and Chief Erskine and Paulie Bruno. And, of course, Paulie hasn't brought up the infamous play when I was a sophomore and I was a starting cornerback. But Paulie, why don't you tell what happened on that play, buddy? Yeah, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So
I usually leave that up to you, Sal. But anyway,
all right, I'll bring it up.
Okay. During the season, I had to fill in a quarterback a couple times when Dave Siddell got injured. So anyway, we had play all year long where either we rolled out to the right and threw the ball, or Rocky Bridges, our right halfback, split out. He'd come back on handoff to go up the middle. So that's what we had, and we ran it all year long. So just before after you saw it Armistice Day, Dave was quarterbacking then, but he got hurt. So I had a quarterback Turkey Day. So just before in practice, Dick Silva from Westerly was our coach over there. I called a play in practice, and he grabbed my arm when I broke the huddle, and he said, "Don't give it to Rocky." I was faking the handoff to Rocky. Just keep it. So
and I was thinking that too.
So we said, "Okay, we'll try it." You went and we was lucky we scored about 15-yard run or whatever.
Well, that was the go-ahead touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Green scored another one. Yep.
Yeah, on a punt return.
Yeah, Bruce was a heck of an athlete. We lost him a couple of years ago.
So that was right. That was right after the Kennedy assassination. Am I correct?
Right. Yep, that same year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
63.
Randy Wentz was playing, but my good friend, no longer with us.
Dougie Erskine.
One of my best friends, slept in the
Rocky
same
Bridges,
tent.
Ford Bernardi.
Yep.
A good team.
And Rocky Bridges
Johnny
became
Resendiz.
a policeman in Wesley, didn't he? Rocky Bridges?
Yes.
Down in Florida now.
No kidding. He's still with us, huh? Good job. Yeah.
And that was Woody's last game, and then Bob Anderson came after that. Yeah.
Did you have Bob Anderson?
No, my brother played for Bob. I didn't. No.
Okay.
First year Bob Anderson was there was when my brother and Randy Wentz and Dave Siddell and Rocky Bridges they're all in there. That was the first year that he coached. Season of '64. And Duval became the director of recreation.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, the first game was on Armistice Day. That was my junior year, and Sal had just taken over that year. We were 7-0 when we played Stonington in the Armistice Day game, and we thought we had all the answers, and we discovered that we didn't have all the answers. That Dave Siddell had all the answers, and we got beat. Actually, the score was 28-22, but it really wasn't that close. And we had revenge on our minds for Thanksgiving. Now that's when we played twice.
Yes.
Man, that was going to be a lot of fun. It was another one of those downpours. Seems to rain all the time. Thanksgiving Day, and we actually outplayed Stonington up and down the field that day. Get the ball on the 40-yard line. Coach Rogeri decides to go for it, 4th and 1, and I carried the ball 8 yards, first down. Flag comes out. Johnny Barato had moved a little bit, and we got called back. We didn't make we should have had another play. It was really weird the way the referee officiated it. But anyway, Stonington had the ball on the 40, and I may have the sequence messed up a little bit, but Doug Erskine ran for 33 yards right up the middle. And it was a play that Anderson had pulled out of his, because he always running that belly option, pull the ball out of the running back's stomach, and then he'd take it himself or he'd pitch it to Randy. But this time he gave it to Doug. Doug 33 yards. Then the next play was to Jimmy Ginther. Another 30-yard play. So now they got the ball on the 10-yard line, and now there's about maybe 30 seconds left to go in the game. And another Anderson call was when they run that belly sequence, it pulls the ball out of the guy's stomach and then usually we'll pitch it to say Randy coming around. This time what he did was he put it in Doug's stomach, and then he dropped back, and like I'm in the corner, and I'm saying, what's he doing? He's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to give it to him. And Randy circled around and went to the corner of the end zone. And I hit him right at the goal line, and I looked over, and Randy, for some reason or other, I'm wondering why he's smiling, and I looked down, and there's a white line in between my shoulder and his shoulder. I said, that white line is the goal line. And believe it or not, 7-0, Randy kicks the extra point, and believe it or not, we get another shot. Billy Contreras get cocky kid. Oh man, he's still cocky. Great golfer. He drops. He knew he had one play. Drops back to pass. Gary Capalbo, love him like a brother. Ball. He's wide open. 40-yard pass right in his hands. Well, we're going to tie the game up. He's got the ball in his hands, and he drops the pass. Remember that, Jim?
So I do.
That was a great Stonington Wesley game. Never forget that ever. Stonington wins, and next year, the year after we played on Armistice Day, and they played it as a night game. They brought in portable lights.
My sophomore year.
That was the last one.
Yep.
Yep. That was we don't want to go into too much what happened at the game. We didn't win 38-0 and scored every time we had the ball. And after that was nothing. We played Stonington on Thanksgiving, and we did win. I think it was.
Yeah, me too.
I think it was 7. We won.
Closer.
It was 21-8.
Yeah, it was
21-8. So anyway, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to Jimmy. It means a lot to Chief Erskine. It means a lot to Paulie Bruno. It means a lot to Bobby Mitch. It means a lot to Greg Howard. But we'll go around one more time, and we'll just let you guys tell any stories you want, because we got a couple minutes, and go from there. You want to go first, Jim, or you want to go?
Well, I've said enough. I just hope it's a nice day, and look forward to a good game. And again, like I told Ronnie, I hope all the seniors on his team get through the Super Bowl experience and win or lose, and are able to play in the Thanksgiving Day game
Jimmy,
without injury, because that's their last game.
Jimmy hit the nail right on the head. But I mean, but by doing what they're doing, the Rhode Island Scholastic League is actually taking away from the Thanksgiving Day game by doing your Super Bowl on a Sunday. They could have done it on a Saturday, or they could have done it on Thursday night or a Friday, but they chose to do it on a Sunday. To me, that's not good.
Well, they do have Super Bowls on Sunday, but
yeah, I know.
I don't know how what's the rationale behind the way they set up the playoff format. So,
do you feel you're going to be here for the game? Obviously, I'll be here, and Chief will probably. I don't know if you go in the game this year, Chief. Chief Erskine.
Going, yep. I told him, no, the thing is,
You got the mic? Yeah.
I've been judging that thing for about 20 years. The police department, matter of fact, been giving that award out since 1958, the first year. Tucker Terranova won it the first year. And that was when there used to be 2 games. They used to give it out at the home game at Stonington. And there was only one award. And so he was the MVP on Armistice Day his senior year. Then his Thanksgiving, West Stonington beat Wesley over here. But then it changed. Because everybody was saying, well, geez, the other team, because they didn't win, the guy played a great game. So then he started giving awards out to each, Yeah. And then they went to one game. So that's where they give the award out. So I haven't, been involved in it for a long time. But fortunate guys like Craig and them guys come along. And when I go to Wesley, I'm a terrible judge. Because when I go over there, I land up talking with everybody, and I'm not paying attention. Everybody, hey, you see a bunch of guys you never saw before. I could go on naming them all off. You don't know everybody, but so I'm going to step aside and let these guys run the show now. I'm moving up there in age.
No, come on.
But,
You're doing good.
Thanks for having me on, and I always appreciate it. And the Wesley Stonington game's a big game, and we got 2 good communities, and a lot of people have made friends over the years with those games.
Definitely. Paulie Bruno.
Yeah, just a comment because Rhode Island's not the only state that's having issues with how the playoffs go. And in Connecticut, there's quite a few people that could care less about the Stonington Wesley rivalry, and they're trying to get playoffs during Thanksgiving. So we got to watch the same problem in Connecticut that you guys are having.
Yeah, we got to make
All
sure
right.
we don't let that happen.
And everybody, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Good luck.
All right, Coach Mitchell over there.
Thank
But
you.
Coach, listen, I know you want to listen. You and I talked on, but we do have to remember two of the legendary coaches that John Stellitano and Coach Jerry, and of all the people that I've known throughout the years, Coach Mitchell probably and Coach Morano probably exemplify what Coach Jerry was all about, but unfortunately cannot be here. And Bob, we talked a little bit on the phone about Coach Jerry and what we all owe to him, and I think people on both sides of the river owe it to him because they wanted to beat the heck out of him because he was so damn smart. And he always had those great teams, Bob.
Yeah, as we discussed, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. It is special, something that I look forward to every year. So thank you for inviting me. But you know what? I mean, as you and I discussed, and I know Jimmy and I have talked about this many times too, like when you think about the impact that a person has had on the lives of so many people. And I know that Dr. Stellitano had that impact on a lot of people, but Sal, I think the most important thing that I learned from Sal is how one person can profoundly impact the lives of so many in a positive way. And you know what? I learned that not only from as being an athlete and then being a coach, but the same was true when I went on to become an administrator, right? So that was a very profound thing for me that I learned from him, because I think one of the most important things I've learned in my life is that one person can profoundly impact the lives of so many people in a positive way, in a not so positive way, but definitely and have fun and make sure you enjoy it, because it's going to stay with you. I mean, Sal's telling stories about games 55, 60 years ago, right? You remember
Right.
plays. I mean, think
Okay. For a lot of these players, they've been playing together since they were 8, 9 years old. It's a second family for a lot of them. And it's going to be an emotional day. Emotions are going to be running high for the kids, for the parents who have been on those sidelines for 10 years, and now all of a sudden they're never going to be a parent again. I had one of the seniors say to me in Stonington after senior night, walking away, tears in his eyes, and said, next time I come to find him, I got to buy a ticket. And I said, yeah, it's quite a moment when that happens.
It's quite
Yeah, and they're good boys, they're great kids, both sides, no kids on both sides of the river, and I look forward to a great game, and I look forward to the community coming together on a great holiday, and I hope your weather prediction sounds right, and I just want to say thanks for having me.
It's got to be right, guys?
And you know what, Sal, I'm glad you invited Greg. It's great to see him here because we're all getting a little long in the tooth.
We got to get some
side of the room.
some young guys in there.
You're gonna have to carry the torch.
Yeah,
I
I
mean
will.
that sincerely, and I know you'll do it. And a great person to do that. Anybody that can be a police officer and a politician.
And I'll reach out to
You
know,
gotta
I
do
was
it.
thinking about that. I'll reach out to some of the guys in my age group that were legends. I played football. I was never one of the standout athletes. Like, I played with Greg was great. Jake Lamb, Greg Antoch, Jared Blanchard, Tommy Palmer, guys I played with other side of the aisle. Morgan Dean was a great football player. Billy Nicholas, the Friend Boys. Yeah. So maybe we'll start reaching out, Sal, next year.
That'd be great.
We'll bring some younger
Second
guys
generation.
in and
Yeah, let's
keep this
do it.
going.
I was thinking too, guys like Joe Mixie's living in the area too. Would it be fun to like?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Joe's living in the area, and we developed. We're so close, because we experienced all that we experienced playing together. But Mark DeGangi and Tommy Ventresca, I talk to Stevie Similori all the time. He lives in Delaware, so it's awesome. We're lucky. Very lucky.
Being able to gather together like this is what makes me, and I think all of us, really treasure this one moment in our lives. Really unbelievable. I just really.
Todd Gwaltney, that's another one. His son's turned out a heck of an athlete too at the youth level.
He's over at Stonington.
Yep, he's a teacher at Stonington, and he was a standout athlete for Wesley, and now his son's doing a heck of a job at Pee Wee's. Yeah,
Jackson. Yeah, he's a quarterback, I think, isn't he?
I don't know.
So that,
They're good. They're very good.
yeah, that team.
yeah, they lost a heartbreaker. Got upset in the playoffs this year because
Yeah.
One time, my brother Michael was
Yeah.
at that game. Told me about.
yeah,
it.
Britton Friend
Double
Britton Friend works with me, and he coaches with them, and it was sad to see that happen to him. But
All right, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
I
guys.
just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you to Ben Barber for producing, and good luck, guys. Jimmy, good
Paul, always a
job, buddy.
pleasure. Right. I mean that, buddy. You gotta do that.
All right, Greg, man, beautiful.
Give this back.
What a show.